chartered universities, 30 private universities with licenses, 10 other private degree awarding institutions, 50 public other degree awarding institutions, and all others, totaling to about 227 institutions. This expansion in higher education in the country is a result of the correct policies by the NRM government and response to your guidance as the line Minister of Education and Sports. This expansion has put a heavy burden on the council, but I'm glad to say that the council is up to the task and ready to continue delivering on its mandates. As council, we are looking at the strategies that can be adopted to guide institutions on how to continue during this pandemic. That is why the emergency open distance e-learning or DEL system and other guidelines were developed and issued to institutions. The executive director has highlighted on some of the challenges virtual learning is facing. Among those are adaptability issues and attitudes. Many members of our community in universities and other tertiary institutions have found it difficult to change their attitudes and adopt to ODEL, but progress is being made. We also have technical issues such as high bandwidth costs and internet connectivity, especially in the rural areas. It is true that the cost of internet and connectivity is still high, and data is also quite expensive, and students find it very difficult to afford these costs. Institutions are also experiencing financial constraints, limited accessibility to computers, and inadequate computer skills among the staff and learners. On a number of occasions, I've encouraged parents and sponsors to provide for their students, for their children, to buy them gadgets such as computers and laptops, and also provide some financing for data so that students can access materials online. The National ICT Policy of 2016, among others, aims at supporting human resource development and capacity building through facilitating broadband access to all citizens and ensuring broadband connectivity of all public facilities by 2020, as well as ensuring availability of resources to support the development of ICT infrastructure and accessibility countrywide, and facilitating ICT-based delivery systems for education. Unfortunately, this has not been achieved, and the country appears to be lagging behind. As we call upon institutions to focus on virtual learning, there is need also for government to support these institutions by putting up infrastructure that supports virtual learning, having nationwide internet connectivity, and having a policy to subsidize the cost of ICT equipment so as to enable institutions and students appreciate the system. Honorable Minister, institutions of higher learning have continued to experience budget cuts, and these normally target capital development, where procurement for computers and other ICT equipment is budgeted for. We would like to call upon government to lift this ban so that institutions can use some money to expand their ICT infrastructure to enable online teaching and learning. This is going to be the normal even after COVID-19 is gone. I would like to call upon institutions to use this exhibition and learn from one another, because different institutions have different strengths. I'm glad to report that public universities are already cooperating on the use of ICT infrastructure and development of systems to manage higher education institutions, and I commend them for that. Honorable Minister, I now take this opportunity to welcome you, our chief guest, to make your remarks and also officially open the 12th annual exhibition. Mama, you are most welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Katunguka, Chairperson, National Council for Higher Education, the Executive Director, National Council for Higher Learning, for Higher Education, heads of higher education institutions, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. It is a real pleasure for me to officiate at this 12th Higher Education Exhibition, which is the first to be conducted virtually by the National Council of Higher Education. I want to congratulate the Council for this innovation, which has enabled the continuity of this event amidst the restrictions of COVID-19 pandemic. I also applaud the participants for turning up. The theme for this exhibition is, in quotes, innovations for current and emerging challenges and opportunities under COVID-19 pandemic, unquote. This theme reflects what the country has experienced and surely challenges all education institutions to refocus on how to continue with education amidst the pandemic. COVID-19 was a wake-up call to higher education institutions, to education in general, and to the country to shift from the normal things as we were used to know them, and for education or higher education to shift from face-to-face classroom interactions to online learning. This prompted the development of the emergency order system, online conferences, and now online exhibitions. I urge our higher education now and all institutions to transform from the ancient ways that have kept Africa backward. The NRM government is aware of the challenges the institutions are facing in moving towards a new line, including low adaptation to the new normal, rigidities, as Professor Katunguka was talking about this, the rigidities in attitudes, access to stable and affordable internet connectivity. The government is aware of all this, and believe me, we at the Ministry of Education are working to make your burden lighter in the higher institutions of learning. As institutions of higher learning, there is need, however, to have innovations and strategies that will guide the country on how to address the challenges, not just for the COVID-19 pandemic, but in all areas of our development, in education, and in other spheres of life. We must make use of the existing services now, such as ODEL, to overcome the challenges of the learners losing time of learning, but also lead our country to get out of the backward methods of work. We have to use today's exhibition platform to network with other institutions, learn from one another, indeed, as you have already said, and build one another through knowledge transfer. This is the time, and it is a great opportunity for the higher education institutions to showcase your brand and unique identity through the services, products, and innovations you exhibit today. It is a great way to let the public and potential students know that you have something that can add value to what they are doing. I also know now that I must arrange in the very near future a meeting that will bring all of us together with other sister sectors such as the docket of science and technology and innovation, as well as the National Planning Authority, to form a method of work with those sectors that will allow us to work together. I believe that some of what you have on exhibition today may be a potential solution to some of the problems government seeks to solve, and this country has been struggling with for a long time. And I must add here also that we have to learn to stop wasting resources, because you realize today that the Ministry of Science and Technology is holding their first exhibition ever, where all of us should have been to use the same forum to showcase everything we have, instead of doing it differently, each in their own corner. Now, that aside, let me also say that since all tertiary institutions have reopened in a phased manner with effect from 1st of November 2021, I'd like to remind you of the COVID-19 standard operating procedures that have been communicated to all higher education institutions through National Council of Higher Education. As of the 8th November 2021, 67% of teaching staff, who include those in higher education institutions, have received their first COVID-19 vaccine, whereas 23% are fully vaccinated. I must call upon you all to use the digital platforms in mobilizing all your staff, both academic and non-academic staff, as well as students aged 18 and above, to go get their COVID-19 vaccination. We have been working with the Ministry of Health, and as you now know, they have already communicated to National Council of Higher Education and all tertiary institutions and universities that COVID-19 vaccine centers are going to be set up at each university. This arrangement has been made for the ease of students and staff who may not have had the opportunity to be vaccinated before reopening. I call upon all staff and tertiary students to not take COVID-19 lightly just because the cases are low now. COVID-19 is still in the country. Therefore, it is not time to let our guards down. We do serve a living God, and He's been gracious to us, and I'm convinced that He'll deliver us from this pandemic, but we must continue to do our part for now. It is now my pleasure to declare the 12th Higher Education Exhibition 2021 officially open, and I thank you and God bless you.
Yeah, we thank you, our Honorable Minister, Mama Janet Seven. The launch, okay. We now invite you for the official launch. Mama, Honorable, we request you to launch the link so that the exhibition is officially launched. and the public can be able to view it. Request you, Mama. Somebody, yes. Honorable Mama, we are ready for the launch.
Okay. Okay, Professor Katunguka, it's been launched.
Sorry. Sorry, Mama.
Chair, we move. Honorable Mama, we are ready to go for the tour of the store. And as we tour the store, we shall be able to see what we'll be able to, what the universities and institutions that have been selected that will be able to show us. Honorable Minister, Mama Janet Museveni, we have selected 5 universities that are going to take us through the virtual exhibition. One of them is Chambogo University, Uganda Christian University, representing private chartered universities, and Soroti University, one of the new universities, and one tertiary institution, African Institute of Music. At this moment, Mama, allow me to call and invite the Director of Research, ICT, Research and Innovation, Dr. Nora Mulira, make her remarks, and later on invite Dr. Changa to take us through the stores. Dr. Mulira, Musuruka.
Thank you. Honorable Minister, the Chairperson of Council, our exhibitors, the Executive Director, and the National Council for Higher Education Management, ladies and gentlemen, mine is the task of introducing the virtual tour and for you to participate in. Honorable Minister, allow me to say some brief comments on the platform which we're about to visit and the booths therein. There are 54 institutions and organizations as exhibitors on this virtual higher education exhibition platform, which you have just launched. This platform has the capacity to host all our 252 higher education institutions, and we believe it will do so in future. It also has the capacity for many use cases, including e-learning, teaching, and online assessment, which are the new mode of learning and teaching in the new normal. We thank you, Honorable Minister, for commending the participation of so many institutions in this pioneer medium. Their presence and the displays to the public in the next 3 days at this exhibition is testimony to the recovery and resilience in the higher education subsector and the public sector in general. Honorable Minister, in keeping with the National Council for Higher Education tradition, we'll welcome you formally to a virtual tour of selected booths so that you can sample some of the content and this displays that these institutions have put together and mounted on this first ever virtual higher education platform. I now call upon my colleague, Dr. Pius Achanga, who is the Director, Quality Assurance and Accreditation, to take you through the docket that he shares here, that he manages here at the Council, through the selected booths for the institutions that have been mentioned. Pius.
Thank you so much, Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Arthur Muguzi, for this opportunity. Your Honor, it's indeed a great pleasure and my esteemed privilege that I have the humility to walk you, our guest of honor, First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, Mama Janet, and all the exhibitors and delegates present through the NCHE booth, which is a virtual store, so that you get a feel of what the 12th Higher Education Exhibition has to offer. But to set the scene, Mama, let me invite you to a clip by our Chief Executive Officer, Professor Mary J. N. Okokol. Let's take a look. Mama, as you have rightly heard from the executive director, apologies for the low tone, the executive director emphasized the functions and mandate of National Council for Higher Education in safeguarding custody of quality higher education in the country. A number of factors determine the success of NCHE, namely the government support, but fundamentally, Mama, your relentless efforts as our line minister, as you have just emphasized, and NCHE does not take this for granted. There are surely many challenges, COVID pandemic playing a big part, as the ED chair, Professor Elika Tunguka and yourself, as stated earlier on, but with God and your unwavering support, we will sustain innovatively as this exhibition will demonstrate. But we must also state that because it's a learning curve, we are going to have glitches, but the glitches need not necessarily give us the impetus to concede. Mama, the second segment of the NCHE booth tour is to provide an overview from the chairperson organizing committee who introduced me here, Dr. Mulira, who is also the director in charge of ICT, research and innovation as a precursor to what we wish to be seeing in this virtual tour. Please, let's have the clip of Dr. Mulira. Can we have the clip of Dr. Mulira, please? Our guest of honor, one of the fundamental objectives of rolling out the exhibition is to offer career guidance to our youth. These are the potentials. The students who are specifically having completed ordinary level education, those who have completed ordinary level simply because they need to make a decision of what career path to follow in terms of what combination to take to lead them into their career paths. It also focuses on the students who have completed A level to make those informed decisions on what they do in life. But it is also the opportunity for other lifelong learners like myself, if I wanted to go back to school, to listen to what this university have to offer and make that informed choices of continuing to learn. Therefore, Mama, the main objective of the virtual exhibition are to provide students the relevant information to, among others, inform their career choices. This is very critical. Our president, His Excellency, speaks very consistently of how this country should move to the next middle income status. But to do that, we need students who are interested in a specific discipline, and that is STEM, which you've just rightly stated. Mama, students can also be guided on what to look for or expect in the exhibition stalls. And we are heartened to be having 54 booths with a sample of 5 next to come, giving a flavor of what public universities offer, what other tertiary institutions offer, among others. The next thing, as the theme is innovation for current and emerging challenges and opportunities under the COVID-19 pandemic, we are aware that new technologies is a learning curve. There are challenges like we're experiencing here, but this is the very reason that we must embrace it, that we must stand with it together in order to make redress. Otherwise, we don't have any hope in doing things differently. Students and everyone interested in enlisting for higher education institutions in terms of career guidance should ensure that they only enlist for institutions of higher learning which are recognized or accredited by higher education, by NCHE. And by that, I should inform that there are 3 categories of institutions. We have universities, both public and private. There are also other degree awarding institutions. These are institutions designed to offer training up to degree level, but in a specialized area of training, like we have the Uganda Management Institute, and also other tertiary institutions, which should offer vocational training, moving on to acquiring skills specialized in specific areas. So the desire here is that the higher education subsector of Uganda has everything for someone and has something for everyone in the context of that proposition. You could go straight if that is a desired path, but if you don't have the opportunity, a student did not waver in the context that I did get a degree, because we thank you, Mama, for having launched the Ict Policy that provides the connectivity to enable our students to progress. The universities and all these institutions I have mentioned offer qualifications from certificate up to PhD level in different strands. We have 10 public universities in the country, with the 10th one added, you've just rightly added, Mount Zulumun University. We have 1 university with a special act, the Islamic University in Uganda. We have 9 private universities with a charter. We have 32 provincial licensed universities. I stated 1 public or other degree awarding institution at UMI. We have 16 private other degree awarding institutions, 50 public other tertiary institutions teaching in different strands, health, engineering, and also over 98 private other tertiary institutions. What is important is that this exhibition should provide you the opportunity as a student, everyone interested, to ask questions. Which are these recognized training institutions? What do they offer? Where are they located? In terms of providing job context, career related, if I am a student, where do I need to pursue? What type of questions do you have to ask? And so you have to log on and ensure that our professors online, the lecturers answer your questions. But I should also caution students, anyone interested parent supporting a student, that their universities whose credentials have been closed. These are former Fairland University, former Busoga University, former Stafford University, former Kaiwa University, former Saka University, former Legif International American College, and former Kampala International College. It is important you are not duped to enlist because your qualification will not be recognized. The next thing which is important in terms of career guidance, that our potential learners coming into higher education should determine that the academic program that you wish to pursue is accredited. That is substantial because a university is established does not necessarily mean that the program is accredited. So that line of inquiry needs to be sought. Our doors are open. You can go to our website, you can make phone calls, students, and you can specifically request these specific types of information from us to give you guidance so you make informed choices. There are different paths of how you can access higher education, either through mature age entry, through diploma route, through the A-level route, and also now the higher education certificate for specific areas of tuition. As you can see, that is Jambo University being projected, the kind of artistic impression of the facilities that they have. We thank our chair, Professor Eliga Tuguka, for leading from the front in terms of demonstrating how our education institution should look like, among other things. On this right-hand side, you can see a list of institutions which are recognized. So take the benefit of visiting NCHE website, making informed choices. Here also, we are going to have a few of the people in the industry who should be talking, answering questions. If I wanted to be a banker as a student, what type of programs should I pursue, among other things? Therefore, this is important for students that you understand what programs you are enlisting for, which career path it takes you, and then you make informed choices. The second final important issue I should mention is the decision for students here in, you may study in Uganda, you may make a decision to pursue your studies abroad, but please inquire from NCHE to determine that the institution you wish to pursue for study is recognized or accredited. Otherwise, you waste 3 years, you waste your parents' funds, and eventually when it comes here, it won't be recognized. So this is important. This is taken to fore. Therefore, it's a wonderful opportunity that we are here together. And as our technical people reorganizes what NCHE has on the booth, students should visit thereafter and get the feel of what it is. And I take this moment to apologize because the content of the booth that I had wanted to present to you, Mama, has not come out as it should, but our technical team are geared. And I made this statement that technology will always be a challenge, but we must aspire to adapt to that. I'd like to pause here and hand over the microphone back to the chairperson. And thank you, Mama, for the opportunity to address you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Changa. Thank you, Dr. Nora Murira. I now invite you, Mama, and our minister to take a tour of the stores, and we start with Chambogo University, representing the public universities. One of the, the existing ones, that's cool. Over to you, Chambogo University. Yeah. Yeah. Chambogo is taking us to another small presentation before we go to next, which is African Institute of Music.
And you are able to see a list of patients that have been added to the system. So you're able to add a new patient, and when you add that new patient, you can select the patient as a receptionist to do the biodata registration. Then the receptionist can also do measurements like the weight of this patient, the height, the BP, the temperature. Doctor is able to see what the other departments has recorded from this patient, and the doctor is able to make his or her diagnosis, and also to send this particular patient to either the lab to go and take lab test, or to the pharmacy to go and collect their prescription.
Mama, can I request the Vice Chancellor, who also happens to be a chairperson of National Council, to make some few remarks before we go to the next presentation? Professor Erika Tunguka.
Honorable Minister, I hope I'm audible. Am I audible? Yeah. Honorable Minister, Mama Janet Katam-Seven, you are most welcome, and thank you for gracing this occasion. I also want to take this opportunity to congratulate the National Council for Higher Education for coming up with this virtual higher education exhibition, and thank the ICT team that made it possible for us to exhibit virtually. At Chambogo University, we've been working together with our students and staff under the theme of innovations for current and emerging challenges and opportunities under the COVID pandemic. And a number of our students have been very active in coming up with innovations during the lockdown. Some of the innovations have already been displayed, but these are the few we have just picked from the many. One is the hands-free door opening system, which has just been displayed by that very bright young lady and our colleague. And this is an innovation which is intended to limit the spread of the virus from surfaces which are commonly touched, like windows, ATM machines, printers, and other places which are of common use. The dynamic hospital management system has also been described. We also have the smart hybrid farm management system, which enables a farmer to monitor and add value and control farm productivity at a distance, knowing that most of our farmers are like briefcase farmers, and they farm from a distance. This system monitors weather patterns, moisture content, soil nutrient levels, and also pest and disease control methods. We also have the biocontrol strategies for the management of banana wilt in Uganda, knowing that the banana wilt is one of the major limitations to increasing banana production in this country. And the current farming practices are ineffective at alleviating the problem. So some promote antibiotic resistance and environmental contamination, especially using chemicals which are as pesticides. There are a number of undocumented indigenous practices as the use of urine and ash, commonly used by the local farmers. These may also have therapeutic effects on the banana wilt. So this technology has been developed to increase the control of this disease so that we can have increased banana production in the country. As a university, we are joining hands with the president and government to promote climate change, science, technology, innovations, and also create wealth through modern agricultural practices and other interventions for a prosperous Uganda. As Chambogo, we are really glad to be part of this exhibition, and thank you, National Council for Higher Education, again, for organizing this. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister.
Yeah, thank you, the Vice Chancellor, for those great innovations under this COVID pandemic. Honorable Mama, let us take you through the virtual. I call upon Maria Akim, representing African Institute of Music, to take us through the virtual exhibition. Mama, you're welcome.
Do you hear me? Yes. Honorable Minister?
Maria, we are listening, and Mama should be also listening too.
Okay. Hello, good afternoon again. And good to see you, Honorable Minister, again. You've been in one of our performances last time. It's really our pleasure, honor, privilege to have you here. And your ED and members of the National Council and our co-workers all over the country. Welcome to the booth of Africa Institute of Music. We are privileged to have you at our booth. Well, this is the first time to all of us. So we have mistakes and we have challenges, but we all understand. I am so delighted to see the first virtual exhibition for higher education. Indeed, it is a huge, timely achievement. So I want to give the Thanks to the National Council and the Minister that your support, encouragement, your presence already encourages a lot. We've been waiting for this time. I tried to share something from our booth. So I'm sure that I can share. Yes. Do you see what I'm sharing? Okay, so music section, which is very challenging in our nation. And also, why not about ourselves? Let's talk about ourselves in the 21st century. So we have African music section. And you will see we have these videos we uploaded about introduction. You see me there? And somehow it shows beautiful voice, one of our vocal students. I cannot show you everything, but I'll skip. Beautiful Adungu. Why do we have to forget about our heritage, our culture? This is our newly built campus. And I would like to show you the beautiful pianist, one of the students. Okay, let me skip to another student. Not me, please. The same Adungu player. We have another faculty member who is in charge of jazz, contemporary music department. And we have another member, Miss Nakalema. Let me skip to, yes, our nation also needs the development of the internet. So we have a production department. AIM is a very unique school which provides the holistic music education, including this jazz music and classical music and African music and production. So that will be the first video. And we want to go to the second. This is one of our hearts because this is about production. And we have a excellent, outstanding teacher in charge of the production, Mr. Kaz. So this is the student testimony. Okay, you'll watch that later. And then we show you some pictures. This is our chapel concert hall. And we do street concert, all different concerts. Different instruments, oboe, violin, trumpets, trombones, tuba, pianos, and classical singer, conductor. Okay, you watch that in your own time. You watch that. It's just too much for now, right now. So you can watch our videos, and we put our brochure for the students who are going to be the musicians in the future. So you can go and check what is required, what is happening, who is teaching, and all these. I don't see. It takes some time.
Yeah, one thank you, Maria Kim, Mama
Yes.
and Honorable Minister. This is one of classified and registered tertiary institutions. And I've been, from rare information, not only the young people enjoy the music, but even us at our age also enjoy the music. Mama, allow me to invite Uganda Christian University, one of chartered private universities, to represent the private universities and take us through the virtual show. Mama, you're welcome. No, Richard. That's good.
So I'm going to talk first.
No, this is good.
That's why I say they should have given us earlier. As part of okay. Mister, welcome.
Go to share screen. Go to the Uganda Christian University, almost welcome.
You cannot mute
Take
me.
Mama through your virtual store.
First optimize
Optimize
one. Share.
Then yes.
Unmute.
Yeah. Just first refresh up first. Good. Then Madam Krista can be talking first. Welcome. Put the video.
Honorable Minister of Education and First Lady, our chief guest, the chair of council at National Council and members of council present, the executive director and your team, my VC and DVCs, as well as other VCs and DVCs present. Good afternoon. We'll begin our presentation with a short video, then I'll come in with some additional information. Thank you.
The thing is still taking long. Stop the share and refresh. Let's stop the share first. Refresh it. You see that photo is what? It's tired. Let's go to YouTube and play it. No, let's play from our platform. It is now opening. Good. Now you can go and do the share again. Okay. I'm going to do the share again.
Which one is it? This one?
Yeah. Yeah. Now go to play video down, scroll down.
I didn't mean it.
Greetings from Uganda Christian University, Center of Excellence in the heart of Africa. We welcome you to the first ever
So can we have the
virtual
PowerPoint ready after he...
exhibition for National Council for Education, and I'm glad to welcome you to our stores, our virtual stores for Uganda Christian
Can we queue up the
University.
online video?
As an institution, we have
Ronnie,
fully
we
embraced
should queue up the PowerPoint and the online video.
learning,
He's about to finish, right?
graduation, electronic voting for the guild. We have an e-library as well as e-learning
Richard, are you ready to go to
resources,
the PowerPoint?
which have enabled us to cope with the challenges of COVID-19. And therefore, the theme for this year,
We do the PowerPoint
which
next.
focuses on the challenges and opportunities of the new experiences under COVID-19, present an opportunity for us to showcase
So the
what
PowerPoint
we've
is
been able
next.
to do to remain operational as a university. And we do
Okay.
hope that you'll be able to learn
I'm going to move
a
quickly.
few things
Richard,
from
I'm going to
UCU's
go
experience.
quickly.
So I hope you'll be able
Move
to
quickly.
enjoy our virtual exhibition, and let us all learn together on how we can cope with the new challenges using digital capabilities at our disposal. Enjoy the stalls as you visit UCU. Thank you.
Good afternoon again. My name is Krista Oluka, and I'm the Director of Admissions and Student Records at Uganda Christian University.
Seminary University evolved into a best entrance.
Just excuse us for a minute. We have a couple of things overlapping.
Life in UCU was to come. As semester after semester, students enrolled for
My apologies for that, but we're ready to go. My name is Krista Oluka, and I'm the Director of Admissions and Student Records at Uganda Christian University. I'm delighted to be here to present on behalf of the UCU community our virtual exhibition under this theme. We're excited about this theme because it resonates so well with us and the innovations and things that we've been trying to do at UCU during the COVID-19 pandemic. UCU is the only provincial university of the Church of Uganda, and we have 3 campuses in addition to our main campus, and over 12,000 students enrolled. I'm happy to say that through the innovations and e-learning things that we've been able to do, I'll discuss them in a minute, over 90% of our students have been able to be engaged since the first lockdown in March 2020. So their learning has continued remotely. They've been able to study, to learn, to be assessed, to be promoted, and even to graduate, as I'll explain further down. Our e-learning journey resonates well with the theme. There have been some wonderful achievements we've made that haven't been without challenges, though. There are many that we'll get into. In fact, I'll encourage you to go onto our portal on this virtual exhibition site and review the many documentaries that address a lot of the things I'm talking about, in addition to the challenges and achievements from a student and staff perspective. So some of the challenges we've had to do with access to gadgets and connectivity and purchase of data, perceptions on e-learning, and achieving that learner-focused context, which differs a lot from what traditionally our students are used to. I'll explain further down how some of those issues have been addressed. Something that we've emphasized as we put together technological aspects and training aspects and different things is online learning rather than online teaching. There is a tendency, I think, as people get into online education to focus more on the teaching aspect than the learning aspect. UCU has very intentionally engaged students in a way where their learning is the focus. So our online learning has been active. You've seen the bullets there. some of these attributes that I'm describing. It's been active, it's been constructive and individual, it's been collaborative and conversational, contextual and guided, emotionally involving and motivating, edutaining, and there is an increased need for virtual and augmented reality. Our model of e-learning, as you can see from this diagram, puts the learner at the center. So as we've innovated, it hasn't just been about any one of these three items, but them working together to ensure that we put the learner in the middle and they get the most out of this engagement remotely. This detailed diagram illustrates all the various aspects that traditionally in face-to-face learning a student would need to have access to and engage in terms of their journey. So if you look closely, there are issues to do with registration, application, results management, feedback systems, all the things that you typically see in a traditional classroom. So what we've been able to achieve through our learning management system on Moodle and our Alpha integrated management system is the ability for our students to engage in all these areas remotely, to have a full learning experience without ever setting foot on campus. UCU's theme is a complete education for a complete person. And we challenged ourselves that even in a remote learning environment, this still needs to happen. So it's not just about knowledge, but it's about knowledge, skills, and attitude. So we don't just focus on the classroom teaching, but engage students in the various other activities that make up student life. So whether for us, we're strongly faith-based, so whether it's engaging them in terms of chapel services and fellowships or other student clubs, our students have been able to engage. And there are several documentaries on our portal where students are talking and describing their online experience and how it's been holistic. One of our achievements was our take-home exam. As I mentioned, our students have progressed, which involves them being assessed both on a continuous basis in terms of coursework, but also in terms of exams. And we had to pivot our approach in terms of how we carry out that assessment. And some of the items on these bullets, or the bullets here, illustrate some of the things that our students have interacted with in order to achieve this. Our academic events have not stopped in the COVID era. Like many of our sister institutions, it's very challenging when you try to conceptualize how to do some of these things on a large scale. For instance, new student orientation or carrying out pre-admission interviews like you need to do for programs like law or medicine. But we've been able to achieve that on a remote basis. So we were able to carry out 2 pre-entry interviews for law, totally, completely remotely, and the same for medicine and dental. And again, I'll point you to our portal where there's some short documentaries on that. We also carry out orientation, commissioning services, and graduation.
Yeah. Thank you, Oluka, for that presentation. Mama, allow me to take you through the last store, that is Soroti University. Allow me to take you through the last store, that is Soroti University, one of the new universities, and they should show us how they are able to cope up during the pandemic. Over to you, James Okero, Soroti University.
I was almost done.
But it's okay. What we've done, one has done.
What about Uganda?
Just let him continue.
Okero, unmute your microphone so that we can be able to get you.
Yes, now I'm unmuted. So, Mama and Honorable Minister, this is Road University. Road
Am I
University
unmuted?
is the ninth public university in this country, and we are welcoming you to this brilliant and actually good campus where everybody should be welcome. And I'm speaking on behalf of the Vice Chancellor, who happens to be in another schedule in Kololo right now. But we have managed to prepare something for our stakeholders, wherever they are. We are in the eastern part of Uganda, and our vision is to produce the future professionals and innovators. This ninth public university wants to be futuristic in its presentation and also in its activities, whereby whatever we do, we make sure that the niche of science, applied science, is paramount. That's why our Vice Chancellor has taken trouble to be at Kololo to be able to get the benchmarkers we presented earlier on. The crisis the world has faced in the past 2 years definitely affected Surutu University. The world experienced events and
How
situations
many
not
minutes had
previously
we used
experienced
before they
before.
cut us off?
We have
How many minutes
equally
had we used before they
been
cut
able
us?
to
Not
look
even, we
more
hadn't.
deeply into this. However, there's a silver lining in this crisis because the starting point was for us to think and doing things differently. We manage now to harness the power of technology. We have created, adopted, adapted practices, policies, which were in the past were unthinkable. Steps have been taken for innovative mode of delivery, innovative content. We have also realized that our courses can now be offered anywhere, anytime, whether it is in the area of science, in medicine, in technology, so long as we can harness the use of technology and also be able to occasionally bring in our students for, let's say, the practicum on campus. We have actually benefited using the technology to now promote student-centered learning and acquire even more resources. Being a new university, our plans on embarking on innovative research, creating new ideas, analyzing problems, diagnosing them, and identifying the causes in areas of health. That's one of our niche.
Yeah, none of
Energy,
these people are.
ICT, technology, food systems, value addition, science education, applied science, and entrepreneurship. We are ready to work with government and private agencies so as to bring about innovation for transforming the society. We, at the same time, trying to create linkages with the various government agencies in order for us to be able to deliver whatever services this country needs. We are the most unique bit of the institution. We offer services within this catchment area, and our catchment area even goes up to Karamoja. Our prospective students, we shall be offering career guidance online. You can apply online, get admission online. We are showcasing what we have and which has been only founded by government of Uganda. And I would like all of us to clap for that, because we did not get anything from any other donor agencies. Most of what you are going to see, I'll now take you over to our IT team, which will now publish. Just give you a glimpse of what's happening in Soroti University, where you find the wise men and the wise women from
And we were within our time.
Yes. And he jumped in and just.
Over to you. Can you grant access to Abigail Solomon so that she takes over from there for 3 minutes. Team, grant access to Abigail.
They're giving them so much time, though.
That's unfair.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Thank you, Honorable Minister of Education and Sports. My name is Abigail Salome Inapat, Senior E-Learning Officer at Soroti University. And I'll be giving you a very quick virtual tour of our booth. And so these are just a few pictures showing the hands-on lab activities that happen in the different laboratories in the university for the 3 programs that are currently running: the Bachelor of Engineering, Medicine and Surgery, and the Bachelor of Nursing. So this is a student in an engineering workshop,
They need to cut her off
as you
too,
can
like,
see
hey,
there.
like,
So there's a lot
Soroti,
of
thank
hands-on
you.
that happens. Those are still students in the engineering lab looking at computer motherboards there. And we also have different activities in the School of Health Sciences in their laboratories. As you can see, some of the images of what happens in the labs so that the students can have hands-on practice of the knowledge and skills that they learn for their courses that they are taking in the university. And so for Soroti University, you may still visit this our booth to learn more about the institution. We have program information that you can download from the booth, and also information specific to the 2 schools that are here in the university. I'll just show clips of some of the activities that happen in the labs.
I told
This
Joy,
is a
you have to
clip
explain to
for
me what happened. Like, why are you giving
the
me
virtual
homework?
library.
Yeah,
We
I
have
sent him a
virtual
text,
library
like, when you're
services
not
so that
busy,
students can
you
access
tell me.
e-resources wherever they are. They don't have to be on campus. So that's a demonstration of the various e-resources that we have. And in the engineering lab, I'll just play that for a few minutes.
They should have been nice to us. We paid for like 10 books. Do you know we paid for like 10
Instruments from digital multimeters, spectrum analyzer, arbitrary waveform generators, and oscilloscope. So this lab is equipped enough to handle courses.
Okay, so that's
On the digital oscilloscope. The digital oscilloscope is used for just displaying signals.
In the engineering
Then in
labs
this
and their
container,
workshops,
we have some components we
attending
use
to
for building
different
electronic circuits.
activities in the
Here
labs. We also do have practical activities in other laboratories in the
And the
university. We have a
law says
microbiology
that the algebraic sum of
laboratory, we
current
have a
entering
physiology
a
lab,
node
we
is
have
also
a
equal to
pathology
0.
lab, and we
So
have the
for
nursing
me, I also
skills
have my
lab.
node, which is
I'll
connected.
just show you some
My name's
from
James
the
Chibuli Mukasa.
microbiology lab.
We want to
Here at
thank you,
Soroti
Abigail
University.
and James Okero from Soroti University. And
I am here now.
we want
This
to
is
say thank you,
microbiology
Honorable Minister, for taking
preparation.
the tour, despite the technology issues, but we have been able to do our best. Honorable Minister and Mama, if you want to make some comments, it's my pleasure to say you make the comments, and this one marks the end of the virtual tour. Mama and
Okay,
Minister,
so that is just
this exhibition is going to be running for the next
showcase
2 days,
some of the activities that
to the
we
end
run
of the course,
here at Soroti University.
and it
Thank
will
you
be
very much.
open 24
I want to
hours.
hand over back
The students and the public are
academic
welcome
registrar who is
to
representing
exhibit
the Vice
and be able
Chancellor.
to put in the questions and be able to get clarifications. And also, the institutions are encouraged to participate and encourage the students also to participate and learn more from each other, especially on how we cope up with the pandemic. Otherwise, we want to thank you. We want to thank everybody who have attended, and we hope to do much better in the next exhibition. Mama, in case you want to make any comments after the tour, you are invited to say so. Welcome, Honorable Minister.
Thank you so much. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your exhibition today. And I am very thankful to see that we are not doing nothing. Many of our universities have shown that they are doing something. And so I just want to say that on behalf of the Ministry of Education and on behalf of the government of Uganda, I am proud to know that you are all attempting to do some work, and I am hopeful that next time it will be a better show. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mama. And I think you deserve a bigger clap, and we're proud of you as our Minister of Education. And as a National Council, we're also proud of you for your support. And as we conclude this ceremony, let us do the anthems in reverse order, starting with the East African anthem.
Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani.
Thank you, Chair.